Well, official good morning, ladies. Good morning. Let's
Hello, hello.
congratulate ourselves for showing up. So this is the end of week 2. We're going to embark on week 3 today. So let's just do a quick check-in. The check-in always starts the same with morning pages. How did that go for you? And then artist's date. And I just want to preface this by already in the second week, we can see how easy it is for everything else to be first in our lives. So let's start there. I'll go ahead and start with candid. Like I shared on the polo, I did not get to do as much of the artist's way. I was co-leading a retreat this weekend in Donnelly for the summer solstice and the full moon, which was lovely. But leading up to that, there was a lot of work that I needed to accomplish and complete. And what fell off was the artist's way. So when I was on retreat, I just found it, I did not I did not choose to take the time to get up early to write. And instead, like once I was up, I was spending time in community and talking. So I think the first day I wrote maybe like 3 sentences, and the second day didn't write at all. And this morning it's out for me to write a little bit later because there's a lot that I want to write about. And then the same goes for an artist date. I was thinking about that, and she really talks about like simplifying an artist date. Like it could be a 15-minute thing. It doesn't have to be like a whole afternoon or anything like that. And so I don't know if it counts, but right before I left on retreat, literally the night before, I got some disruptive news. And so I grabbed my dog and I went to the dog park and put on music, and I danced. And I was like, I don't even care like what people think or say, but I want to take my shoes off, put my feet in the grass and dance. So I it just doesn't feel like an artist date to me. And the reason I say this is because this is my 4th time through the artist way, and like I feel like I've made it beyond that hurdle. Because for me, like I never spent time by myself. And so that was like a huge celebration. And even like going with my dog, I don't know, dogs give us an excuse. Like if I don't think I would have gone out, like maybe it would have been an artist date if I was like, I'm just gonna go and dance in the park. But like it was still like Jasper was my excuse. So it didn't feel quite authentic enough. So um and then like even there was a moment during the retreat like of this an afternoon free time that I was going to go out on the paddleboard alone, but a friend wanted to come out with me, and that was really great, and I'm glad we did. And she was like, if you want alone time, and we just ended up having this really great conversation integrating some of the stuff. And so even then I didn't have alone time, and then came home to kids, and here I am. So I would give myself like a B minus for the week. Um, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So who else wants to share out?
Jump in there.
Me? Uh, well, I bought myself this little chubby pin for arthritic fingers, so that's really made a big
Oh,
difference.
those soft, squishy.
Yeah, it's by somebody, Dr. Grip is his name. And
Oh
so when
yeah,
I was researching pins that were more than just squishy, but like fatter, so on the days that my hands don't want to work,
yeah.
I can grip them all different ways. So that was a big difference.
That's
It's
huge.
weird. I've been writing everything with blue because I like blue, and this is a black pen, and I thought, oh, this just feels weird, but it's fine. I mean, it's just me being like, black is my favorite color, but I don't always write with black. It's just a bizarre thing. But
That's an interesting
um,
observation.
yeah, it's weird because I started doing the different colors, but then my ADHD was flying all over the place, and I was thinking more about what colors to use than what I wanted to write. So I'm
Oh,
like, no, you're not there yet. You just wait. Wait till a couple more months down the road. You can graduate to multiple colors, but right now we need to focus because I can't.
I love that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shiny things. What? Oh yeah. It wasn't. I started coloring flowers instead of writing. Yeah,
Interesting.
can't do that. But I did like I gave myself a little grace on the days the grandkids were here. I would write maybe a one page before they woke up. But
Yeah.
anytime there's movement, they're what are you doing,
Yeah.
grandma? Like they're up. So
How old are they?
um they're 8 and 11. And
Yeah.
then my little 3-year-old Chance. Well, sorry, I say three. He's 5. He's autistic, but he's 5.
Gotcha.
But yesterday my daughter and I were talking about his level of being a 3-year-old. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's not 3, he's not 3. But
Mm.
so when they were here, I just everything else goes out the window and
Yeah.
I just love being with them and hanging out with them and they're flipping funny, man. These kids are funny. And so I just
Oh,
sit there
that's
on my
so
comic
good.
materials like, yep, that's funny. I gotta write about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're good. But so writing went well. Artist date, I didn't feel like it was, but because I'm the same. I've never really done a lot of stuff on my own where
Hmm.
Phil's comfortable and I'm
Hmm.
so I had everybody house full all week long and I thought I haven't done any like spa days for myself where I've slapped some mud on my face and didn't do anything that was for anybody else but me. And so I did that. I was a little bit more intentional with I'm gonna go down and make lunch. I'm gonna condition my hair for a couple like 30 minutes. I'm gonna slap stuff on my face and pray to God no
Mm.
one comes over and just kind of spend that kind of time by myself. And then I watched a few of her a few more Julia YouTubes of her
Okay.
speaking at different venues, which that was really
Oh,
it's
neat.
she's a cool bird. She's really cool. I like her a lot. Um, and then some of the tasks, I actually did most of the tasks because I had that kind of time at the end of the day where I wasn't going to add to the page, but I thought, okay, well, I can do some of the tasks in
Mhm.
my little notebook. So that was interesting. That was really,
That's very cool. So we'll come back to tasks and see like what stood out for you in a
okay.
minute. So that's very cool. I love that you how you use your time to like write a little bit in the morning, be present with your grandkids, and then kind of come back and look at tasks in the evening.
Mhm.
Very cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yay.
Hey,
Mama.
Aw. Well, you said something about Julie Cameron and YouTube, and then I just thought, well, let me just see how much I did not read this week. And I've worked hard around the house and I've been tired. So when I've gone to bed, I've been able to read a whole page,
Mhm.
double page. But I haven't completed the reading for this week because I
Okay.
just couldn't go that far. And somehow, when you have a dog in bed with you, and a cat that seem to want more of your attention, it's really hard to get through that whole sentence. So,
Yeah.
did not finish my reading, but I did. I'm not sure what's driven me, but I'm doing my writing every morning. I mean, I just come in this room and I pull out my little book and I found last week at the end of last week a pouch that had apparently from the year before multicolored pens in it, and I have next to me here a whole stash of colored pens that I could choose from, but I like these little pens, so I've been writing every day in a different color. And this morning when I got up, I'm gonna write in pink today, so I didn't have a pink
Oh,
pen and I wrote in orange. So
Yeah.
go with the flow.
yeah.
But I have written every day and I gotta give myself that
Gold
pat because
stars.
I was a little it takes a while to just get going on that, and I've really enjoyed it so far this time. So I am writing every
Good.
day.
Uh,
Artist date, I think the week flew by and it's like, oh my God, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
And so maybe I had an artist date in there somewhere. I don't know. It could have been just a private, quiet time in my car by myself. I have no firm
Artist
intentional
date, right.
artist
Intentional.
date.
And I
So,
think that that's the difference. And that's why I'm also not giving myself my artist date, because mine was more of an emotional response to something that I was working through. And I knew I just didn't want to be at home. I needed to get out and put my feet in the grass. And so it was, I mean, it's nice that my response now is to go out and nurture myself in a way that feels good, but I'm not calling it an artist date because it wasn't like I'm going to go out and do this thing. Whereas today, just to talk about like the intentionality, because again, I don't yes, like alone time in your car is lovely, and sometimes, either listening to music or not listening to music, windows rolled up, windows rolled down, like all the ways that we experience moving around in our car, and maybe changing that up can be like a shift and can feel really healing. But today I went to see a movie last night went to see Inside Out 2 with Rhea. And I had those earrings that I bought at Lisa's Mardi Gras, like the cute
mm,
ones with this fringe on them, and they don't have
oh
the
yeah.
backings on them. And I know
Oh
that I
no.
know better. So I lost one of these magnificent new earrings, and then Rhea's like, just call the theater, like see if they have it. And so I called and they have my earring. So now I
Oh, God.
know. I was like,
How
immediately
awesome.
as soon as I found that out, I was like, okay, that's in downtown. We went to the downtown Boise Theater. So I'm gonna go pick up my earring, and that's gonna drop me in downtown today. And I'm thinking I'm gonna wander into Rediscovered Books and into their children's book section, because a lot is coming up for me on children's books and really wanting to write one. So so I think, and that is more of an artist date. Yes, I'm running an errand is what's getting me there, but I have the intentionality to be like, and I'm going to use my time while I'm downtown to do something for myself that is artistic. Like I want to publish a book. So I'm going to go to Rediscovered Books, which is one of my favorites. So I think that that's kind of how I see the difference, you know.
Nice.
Well,
Whereas if I
that's
just went to get my earring and came back home, that's not an artist date. That's an errand.
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
going to put backs on them from now on? I put
Yes. Yes. And I was saying that to myself, because I think I was thinking, because they're so big, that they would just hold. I was like, no, no, just
no, I've had one fall out. Yeah.
yeah, put the backs on. Backs on the
Yeah.
earrings. So yeah. Okay. So mom, in looking at your calendar for the week ahead, because it is crazy. It's crazy how it's like, it's Sunday and then it's Sunday again. Sunday, Sunday,
Hmm.
Sunday.
This week
So,
is nuts.
Mare, do you have a way of like of making an artist date happen for you, or have you found a system yet of
It's just putting it in the calendar and then talking myself up for a couple of days ahead of time. I have to
okay.
cheerleader myself. Like, you can do this. No one's looking at you. You can do this. You're not going to make too
Yeah.
much noise. You're not going to be anybody's way. Like, just that little,
Yeah. And I
yeah.
love like a true self-care day too, because we entered astrologically into the sign of Cancer with the
Hmm.
solstice. And that is such this period of the zodiac wheel is all about nurturing ourselves, really caring for ourselves. So it's like a really lovely, and I was thinking about that too. Like you don't have to go out for it to be an artist date. If you're home and alone and like doing a spa day for yourself, or choosing to watch a favorite movie, get yourself that
Hmm.
popcorn or whatever your treat is, and doing something at home can be that. But so you do a serious talk up. That's
I have to talk myself into going out by myself because I'm just not,
Oh,
I've had my security blanket of either my kids or my grandkids or my husband. And
okay.
if I'm ever by myself, it's doctors, infusion, work. That's it. That's what
Okay.
those are
Okay.
have to.
Well,
And so I'm telling myself I get to. And
yeah.
so next week I'm going to take myself and I get to go to, there's a place called Reuse or something like that. It's got secondhand craft supplies.
Oh,
And I think it's
yes.
in Guard. So I keep getting this little pop-up and I remember you saying like pay attention when I've been looking for the yin and yangs and I'm seeing them. And now it's like
Oh,
I have to pay attention to everything. And so I got a little email, like I was on their newsletter, which I didn't even realize I did. And
It's
then I followed them once on Instagram. And so I was getting a little pop-up. I'm like, okay, that's two. I'm going. Like that's where my next,
yes, that's
yeah.
paying attention. And that was one of the essays this week is attention.
Mhm.
And what happens when we take that attention, and she contrasts her grandmother's life, like the hard reality of her life, but her grandmother also in that would pay attention to the things that were happening. And little things like that. Same thing. Like I had a newsletter once that I I don't remember getting on. I had asked, I think it was the first retreat center I reached out to see like what it involves to lead a retreat there, and it was way over my head, probably still is at this point. And but it got me on their mailing list, and this one thing popped up, and it just really, like, I couldn't shake it, and I ended up taking myself on a retreat there
Mm.
by myself, and that was really pivotal and huge. And
Uh,
that was my second time through. So I'd done the artist's way in February by myself, and it was the following summer I was going back through it again, and I was like, and I went. And so I
mm.
love that you're doing this. And so, and you already have an idea of what you want to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that'll be easy because it looks a little busy on the inside, which I think will help me not focus on who's there, who's looking at me, and who's not,
Yes.
and just, yeah.
Right. And I also think that it's really cool that in like that this week that your artist date was in home, and that's totally honoring it as well, but just like taking care of yourself, because you're like, you might not, and it might be in every other week. Like it might not be every week that you're going out in public by yourself
Hmm.
initially while you're building the courage and the transition. And I think you are totally right that once you get into that store, like nobody, like
I
most
know.
people are paying attention to their own
Yeah.
self, but we all think that everybody's looking at us, so that we have
There
like
was one thing I heard in a 12-step group one time back in California, and it was the guy said, I was just convinced that on Sunday on football day, when everybody got in that huddle, they were all talking about me. And
oh
everyone was like, oh my God, that's so true. Yeah, it's like so
yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. All right, so Mara's got an idea, I've got an idea. Since this seems to be a little bit tricky, Mom, what does your calendar for the week ahead hold, and what has popped up for you?
Well, one thing first, I
Yeah.
haven't even looked at my calendar. I have no
Okay.
idea. I did, as you were talking, Mayor, I thought I did take an artist date
Oh.
in my mind last week when I came home from running an errand or whatever I was doing down on Eagle Road and 44. I have no idea what my mission was, probably Zamzo's. I decided as I was coming home on Eagle, instead of turning right on Beacon Light and coming home, I went straight across. Something I've always wanted to do and never done. And I went out on that road till it turned to gravel, about 6.5 miles.
Oh.
And I was just sucking it in, just like there were houses for a little while, and then there was maybe one gigantic house, and then there was nothing out
No.
there, just space. And I found as I was going again, two Avamore signs like, this is welcome to Avamore property or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And I walked up to it, and I stopped, got out, looked at it, and it said nothing really. And the next one said nothing really. But my other goal in going out there wasn't going out looking for Avamore signs of future, what do you call it? Future construction. Um, I've heard that there is a gorge out there and a canyon, and it's supposed to be spectacular. That's what I wanted to find. And I knew that when you come to the end of the road, you have to get out and you walk about a mile.
Okay.
So, and hold your thought there for a second. So when I came home, and I finally decided, I think it's time to turn around and come home. Just come
Yeah.
out of here, and because I didn't know if I was, when I was on the gravel road, where I really shouldn't be or whatever. And I just thought it was time to come back. And the next morning when I went to my Tai Chi class at our community center, they were finishing up a community meeting on what you need to know. If you have any questions, ask. And the guy who is Mr. Avamore, he's not Mr. Avamore, but he started the whole thing, was there. And I walked up to him and he introduced himself. And I said, yeah, I've heard your name. I know who you are. I said, but I went out here and I did this and I was looking for that. And he said, so and so, and I've got to get back to him now and find out who so and so is. On July 19th, is organizing a walk from the parking area to the canyon. So, and it's going to be 127 degrees probably out there. And I'll
Get like a cold towel around your neck. And
so,
that's awesome.
And so it was just, I walked out of there. I mean, I did my Tai Chi and stuff and I was just really stoked.
That is so cool. That's synchronicity. And that will be a chapter in, or that'll be one of the essays in chapter 3 is like, it's not coincidence, that's synchronicity. Like there was something, and so that is an artist state, Mom, I would say. Like you had an intentional decision to go home or to explore by yourself. So you went and you explored. What's interesting also on that, as we were driving over Horseshoe Bend on the way home from the retreat, my friend Phoenix said, hey, have you ever been out? She's like, somewhere over there, like pointing on the over there, like into the gorge. She's like, there's this trail that leads you to, and she was calling it
it has a name,
Bread Loaf Rock or something like that, like because it looks like a loaf of bread, like this rock that you can walk out to there. So I wonder if that'll be in the gorge. And she had mentioned, she's like, maybe you and your mom can go out there sometime. It used to be like Old Horseshoe Bend Road, but she didn't know if the roads had changed or what. But it was interesting that she had just been saying that, and then you're saying that you drove that, and then there's somebody who's reading something. So if it's not already written in your calendar or typed into your calendar for that July 19th, Mom, put it in. Follow up.
The fact that I remembered July 19th. I mean, because sometimes it's like, what date did you say about this?
Yeah.
Huh?
Because it's the day after Grandma's birthday. Grandma.
Oh, there we go. That's true too. Oh, and it's the day after I have a class. I can survive. Yeah, no, I am definitely going to go, and I'm going to go into his office this week and find out who the person is I need to contact and get on there.
Yeah, it's a Friday. July 19th.
Yeah.
So no classes. That's cool. And that's what we open ourselves up to when you're just playing around and like checking it out. Like that's very cool. I love that.
I did have the artist stage.
Yay. All right. Good job. So everybody but me.
No.
Okay. Let's talk real quickly about some of the, and it doesn't have to be real quickly. I don't know why I said real quickly, about some of the tasks. I love, Mare, that you did them all, like all.
I think so. I have to look in really quick. So I wrote task 1, task 2, task 3, and then not all in one day, just throughout
just over time.
I flip back and forth. I think so, yeah, because there was the read the basic principles every day. I printed some off and then taped the little thing onto the inside flap of I bought another folder. I bought one that's a little bit thicker and it's hard, so no matter where I am, I can sit there and write, and then I doodled on it. But
is that Zentangle? That's
you doodled that?
I sat here and doodled this the other day all over it.
Wow. That's amazing.
I can't have anything plain. Just cannot. It has to
like
have
no naked envelopes, Mom.
No, no naked envelopes. But I printed this off at work. Don't tell Kimberly. No kidding. And then I taped it on the inside because she said it was really helping her. And I said, oh, I bet it does, just to read the principles every day. And that was kind of a little reminder.
So pulling that out and that's a great idea.
Yeah, she was pulling it out and I'm like, I know me, I'll lose it. So I'm just going to tape it on the inside of this little flippity flop. And then that way it'll work that way. But I saw that. Then the artist activities. At first it said the 5 lives, and I went, oh, I mean, I only did like one extra life that one day.
Yeah.
And it said go back and add like 5 more. And I went,
Yes.
okay, well, I need to write the first 5, then I can write 5 more, then,
Yeah. Go back to
Yeah.
always. I just want to grant always, like it's always a restart. It's always a
Yeah.
restart. So if you haven't done something, like just pick up where as if you had done. But did
Yeah.
you do 10 lives then?
I did, let's see, alternate lives. Where am I? Hold on. I did, where is it? This little idea of flipping the book was good at first, but then oh,
Yeah.
here we go. I did 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
15
And
alternative lives.
and then I thought, was that too much? Because I can take something and just go,
That's so. That's great.
yes. So I did that because I started going, ooh, oh, but what about that? Ooh, but what about that? Ooh, that's
Yes.
I start making a laundry list of things. But it was fun because for a minute the last week when someone had said what they would do and you said, well, you could try this or that to kind of bring that forth. I
Mhm.
was looking at every single one and I thought, this is totally obtainable out here with my little cow sanctuary. And then,
Mm.
what would I do with that? I'm like, oh, and then I've always wanted to do the biggest one of all is having a place for the aged out kids from foster homes when they're 18 and they're just out in the world. That breaks me. And so in
Mm.
California, I got to work with, it was the city's Children of the Night, which were mostly girls, but there were some boys in there too. And they were living on the streets and they were selling themselves or whatnot to make. And so they ended up coming to this facility and I would get to speak there a lot. And I loved
Wow.
it. And I loved connecting with these hard
Yeah.
ass kids in the
Yeah.
corner that just, you're not going to get to me. And then sure
Right.
enough, I would. Because I was one of them. I was in one of those centers. I mean, I didn't do that part, but I was self-destructive and
Mhm.
ended up going into like youth camps and whatnot, trying to scare me straight and all that junk. But
No.
I think because of that experience, that's been a big part of if I could give back in that way, because that place
Mm.
saved me, my stepmom saved me. And I think, God, if I could do that, the kids that our world just sets them free at 18 and it kills
Yeah.
me. I don't like that
Wow.
idea. So,
Wow.
but that's kind of where it like kept leading to more. And then I was getting more excited. I'm like, oh my God, well, if you do that, then, and it was just, yeah, I had
You
to
give a
just,
pig a pancake.
oh,
If
good
you've read
Lord,
that
I'll tell
children's
you.
book, but it is. It's like oh wow.
Exactly. So that was fun. But I think some of the activities that was easy because it's like, what'd you do this week? The 5 things, and a lot of it was around the grandkids and the
Oh yeah.
family, and um, I wanted to sit down and paint. But I really felt the call to write, and I've been trying to develop these other 2 characters, and one is she's right in the middle of this kind of like mafioso kind of vibe, but I don't want her to be a typical. So I was researching a lot. So that was kind of fun.
Oh,
So I was just kind of making myself like, what were you doing this week? Like, oh, I was researching. Well, you like researching. So that was like a fun activity.
oh,
You know what I mean?
good.
Like it wasn't like a
Yeah.
dreaded thing. That was
Like,
kind of,
oh, I've
but
got
then
to.
again, I pull at these little threads. I
Yeah.
research this and it goes to that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Tame me down, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one interesting one I'll say is the little circle that she
Yes,
says,
that
draw a
life pie.
circle. And then before the pie, it was write your 5, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Uh, it was 5 something to put in the middle. And then the people that you would write the people's names
Hmm.
inside that circle that help you focus on those things or like
Hmm.
inspired you. And then the people on the outside.
Hmm.
I was the person on the outside. And
Oh,
it was like, I was quoting Taylor Swift. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. It was all me. I was like,
it's your own. Oh,
there's really nobody now. I mean, as a kid, maybe. And I already kind of dealt with those monsters and wrote them off and sent them letters and all that kind of stuff. But right now, and maybe the last 10, 15 years, it's really and
We
me.
put our own, and that is like, wow, that is so, um, such awareness in that, because that it is true. Like, we typically are our worst enemies. Now, that is grown in time, over time, by other people, perhaps,
Right.
those monsters and those people who, but like, if we internalize it for a long
Hmm.
time, we don't realize. And the way that we speak to ourselves, we would never speak to somebody else that way, And so that's really powerful to recognize that. Kimberly,
Good
uh,
morning.
good
I miss that
morning.
face.
Yeah, it's really powerful to recognize and just to visually see it. You're like, oh, it's me. It's me.
Hmm.
I'm my
Yeah.
worst critic. I'm the
Yeah.
one shutting myself down before I even allow the dream, because I'm really trying to keep myself, or it's not, I'm going to rephrase that. I wouldn't even say it's you. It's not Mare. It is
Yeah.
Mare's ego. And the
Yeah.
ego is that part of us, that like that human side that is like, this is what's known, this is what's comfortable, this is where I'm gonna
Hmm.
be. And if you dream too big, like I'm gonna put you back to where it feels safe, because it's just what's
Yeah.
known. But
Yeah.
really, like, it's our worst, like, little, like, undoing that voice and that,
Hmm.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a good one, that life. Yeah, people who do and who don't, because it's really important to make sure that as we are stepping in, one of the things that she says in, I don't remember which, um poisonous playmates.
Mm.
Poisonous playmates is, like, and she did a comparison to, sneeze, to, like, alcoholics. Like, if you're,
Yes.
and it doesn't even need to be alcoholics, like, at a bar, but like, even if
Bless you.
you
Bless
have
you.
a friend who's like gonna eat better, like making conscientious decisions that I'm not
Right.
eating that way anymore, or I'm not drinking, and it threatens it can threaten the connection with somebody, where they're like, but I want a drinking buddy. And so if you're not drinking, if you're getting healthy, if you're taking ownership over your life, I don't want to see that, because that means that I can too. And
Yeah.
so having that,
And that was absolutely why my first marriage didn't make it, because I wanted to be sober and he did not. And so that was it. That was pretty much, you're right. I was questioning, I was shining a light on
yes, we're
his
reflective
problem, his
mirrors, man.
issues.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty crazy. And then
And he
when
did
she
not want
was
to look at
saying
it.
it's like stinking thinking, or if you're thinking about that drink and you're thinking of, it's the same thing with
Hmm.
the writing and the negative self-talk
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's pretty that's the one good thing about her being a former addict, or an addict, but a former user, is she
Yeah.
speaks a lot of that lingo that I'm very familiar with. And
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
always kind of been at the center, which I've always liked it, because it's very true. It's just
Yeah.
all, you don't even have to look at it as an alcohol thing. It could be people,
No.
places, and things. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is
Oh,
fantastic. Well, I want to officially welcome Kimber. Good
Time
morning.
change, time change got me. I was getting all
I was just
ready.
thinking, I'm like, wait, is she in California? Are you
Oh
in
yeah.
California?
yeah.
Yeah, totally got me.
1 hour is, it's like not a big difference, but it's enough. It's enough.
Yeah, if you're not mindful of it.
Well,
But
awesome. Do you want to share a little bit about how this week has been for you? And like, we talked about like morning pages and artist states. We started there, and now we're talking a little bit about tasks, or anything that came up.
this week traveling, I left Tuesday,
Okay.
got in a little van with the little brown dog, and we went. I started late because I was hanging with Mare in the office. So I didn't get to Reno until like 10 in the evening. So I was tired, worn out. But then the next day, I traveled the rest of the way. Well, I took a left at Lake Tahoe, and we went and spent 3 or 4 hours at Lake Tahoe, jumped in the lake, played, with It was it was like a huge artist date. That's what it felt like. It felt like totally
wow.
honoring me. I've always rushed to get here and do what I need to do, but I took the time
Do you,
and took that left turn and didn't make it about time or anything about how lovely
the
it was to.
destination and needing to get there?
Right. Yeah. So, and that was relaxed about the first leg too, and then the second leg, and then being here, I'm more mindful because there's a lot to do, a lot of clutter, a lot of rocks.
A lot of rocks.
Yep, there's a big elephant. There's a 5-foot elephant in my living room.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It's hard to see with
Yeah,
the,
this is the
Oh.
yoga of so before.
look at
We
that.
do yoga right here. The rocks everywhere. Of course,
Oh
there's
my goodness.
exercise machine, Blythe, because Kimber has to exercise. But yeah, and then there's a beautiful rock case over here I hope to bring to the office in Idaho. So I'm playing with rocks.
Yay,
Yeah.
rock
feel-
on.
Feeling a lot of emotions because this
Yeah.
is a whole household where I raised my children
Yes.
and yeah, and all my memories and all my
Crawling with memories.
yeah. So I'm wrestling that, but totally in.
Oh, I love it.
A
I
lot of
love it.
support.
Yay. Well, I'm so glad that you've arrived safely, and I am so glad that you stopped at Lake Tahoe.
Oh my
That
God.
that lake is, it really is magnificent. I used to go there in wintertime, and the first time I went in the summer, I was like, oh, when they say keep Tahoe blue, I was like, whatever, it's just a bumper sticker or whatever. Oh no, like you can,
Boo.
it's so
Yeah.
crystal clear. It's so beautiful. And how wonderful that you took the time for yourself, and that from what it sounds like and what you're saying, that it felt really like expansive, like a huge artist date is what
A
I'm hearing.
huge
It's just like it was
artist
so for
day.
you.
Yeah, really, really nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
And kind
Awesome.
of blessing jumping in that water, freezing cold, of course.
Oh
Oh my
yes. Oh, you
But
jumped in.
oh, jumped in. And Bella was all in, and we were playing with. I mean, it was very crowded. I guess it was Juneteenth.
Oh,
Oof.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
That's a
thing. So
holiday
there's a
now.
lot of people, a lot of other dogs. Uh, Bella has like a little anxiety about deep water, but she saw another dog going after a ball, and she was all in. She was going.
Oh,
I know. I'm so proud.
I'm so proud
Bella
of
had an artist date.
yeah, let's
So,
do
yeah,
this. I can do this.
right.
Oh,
So we did it. Yeah.
that's amazing. Now, I was saying that like I had a little bit of travel, and I was with a lot of other women. So my writing, I wrote like 3 sentences that for over the last couple of days. How has it been for travel with writing for you? Is that morning pages? Have you kept that up, altered it?
The first travel day I didn't write.
Mhm.
But I have every other day, and I haven't yet today.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I really am enjoying that, and I crave it. I would rather do that first, and I have made it second a couple of times, which
Okay.
I think, and then no, I want to do this.
Yeah,
First.
one
I
day.
want to write,
Mhm.
so I think I'm going to be more creating that time so I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now that you're there, how long will you be? Do you have a time frame, or are you just going to
I
allow
told
it to-
everybody a week because it was such a blessing to be able to be gone a week.
Yeah.
I told them Tuesday to Tuesday, and
Are we extending
might
that?
take me longer. Might take me longer, Mayor.
I heard that. I heard that right there. You take all the time you need.
Right?
I got
I
you.
people got my back there.
That's great.
I do
That's
have
great.
a Seattle thing. I bought a ticket to Lee Harris in Seattle. I
No
know,
way.
right?
When are you seeing
It's
him?
Saturday.
This
So
Sat.
yeah, I need to get back and then fly from Boise, right? I think you can. How did you get there? Did you
Yeah, the flight from Boise to Seattle super super easy. Sometimes I fly. This last time I went, Oh, I did. No, I flew in May. I drove in April. Like I have a bunch of friends there, so I go there often. And if I have a little bit more time, I drive. Um, but yeah, the flight is super easy.
And what airline? It was it Alaska Desert or
Alaska.
okay, good.
Alaska.
Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah,
Oh,
that
wow,
was
you're gonna
that's
see
very
Lee Harris.
special. Yeah, so I'm
That
looking
is,
forward to that.
are you going solo to Lee Harris?
I did buy 3 tickets if anybody wants to go with me, but it's short notice but I do have 2 extra tickets. I meant to ask you guys before, but hey,
Okay, I'm
yeah, if
gonna,
anybody can swing it, go Saturday morning and maybe come back Sunday,
wow, okay.
right?
Okay, let me
But
think.
it sounds like a really good tour.
Andrea's thinking.
And I
Well,
listened
I
to him.
love Lee Harris.
Oh my gosh, what a channel
He's a
that guy
I
is.
don't know, Mom, if you're familiar. He channels the Z's, and he does this on YouTube. He's one of the first people I subscribed to, who he just does an energy update. And he's British, so I just love
Oh,
listening to him
British.
speak.
He's very shiny.
He's very
The shining
tiny.
light.
Shiny.
Yes.
Shiny.
Okay, okay. All right. That's awesome. So you've done that and that. And then we were kind of mapping out, because life does quickly happen. And if we're not intentional, a week can go by very quickly without
Yeah.
having an artist date. So just trying to pinpoint some time in our week ahead when we might be able to do that. So Lee Harris is a possibility, unless somebody like me decides to hop on a plane again and go to Seattle.
Just sit a
Oh.
chair apart, and then you guys will be individually
There we
on
go.
your own days. Cone of silence.
Isn't that totally funny?
Remote from everywhere.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, thinking about your week ahead, just looking, and maybe it is like it's something that you can possibly develop on a Sunday. To sit down with it, or maybe on a Monday to sit down, look at your calendar for the week ahead. And she was just talking about, just the pockets of time. And I love that idea of like a pocket of time. It's just, 15 minutes here, or maybe a half an hour there, where you can go sit in your garden and meditate if that's not something that you normally do, or you can do that mud mask. You could do whatever fills you up. Take a drive. Let's put on a playlist or some music, or go to the river. But looking for pockets of time in your week ahead. And so I know for myself that this week I'm gonna need to be intentional about it, because I could just get swept up in the things that I'm doing. And I want to make sure I get a good artist date in. Okay, any other tasks that stood out, or essays that stood out from this week too? You talked about the imaginary lives. And one of the things that I love about her imaginary lives in week 2, where she says, add 5 more lives. And now she says, if you've to do something about it. Like if you listed a dancer's life, can you go dancing? If you listed a monk's life, are you allowed to go on a retreat, or even just like go meditate somewhere? Scuba diver, visit an aquarium. So I know that you have those many lives, and how they kind of ramped up, Mare. That's where we were when Kimber hopped on. Is there something in that you could see that I could do something, because it is an avenue, a potential avenue for an artist date, as well as that list of 20 things that you enjoy doing, when you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, I did a lot
That
of
was nice.
hooping this weekend. I did a lot, but I wasn't alone. But I hula hooped like crazy this weekend. And when
Nice.
it was fun.
Nice.
It was fun.
Nice. Well, I mean, there was the 10 tiny things as one of the tasks, like what you would do more. And that's where I said that
I would like
I
to.
really, one of the lives I see myself as a published author, but also I do like Blythe has the perfect shirt on, the 50 Shades.
Yeah.
That is what I like to write, but more on a darker side with a little bit of funky dark sides to it. And so part of that was one of my things was I want to sell it to a female director. I would like this to be written out in a short little script. My husband knows how to write scripts. We could do it together. We could present it. We have people in that genre. We've just never poked at it. So I thought, well, then that's what I need to do. So part of the one thing I did is one item that I picked was work on the book. And I already have the two main characters. It's just this one third
that's what we're
entity
talking
that's going to take the shift and
Who
move the
you were,
story in a different direct. Yeah, that's
that's
the
who
one
you
I'm.
were researching this week?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
exactly. And just trying to design her, draw her out, figure out what she looks like, her characters, like what kind of hair she has, and all that kind of stuff. That's fun. And then
Mhm.
trying to find a name and then researching what that name means. And
Oh,
sometimes
my-
it's right there. Like she's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's who she is. So yeah,
oh,
and of
that's
course,
so fun.
so yeah, that was actually a lot of fun, and it didn't feel like work. It just doesn't feel like work.
That's how you know you're in the flow. When
Mhm.
you are just enjoying what it is that you're creating, and also even being able to detach. Like, I love that vision of getting it into a director, like putting it into a script form, a director, and possibly seeing the fruition of it. And also,
Mhm.
if it's just the joy of writing it for writing its sake and nothing that we envision comes from it, there's still power in writing it, like
Right.
going through the experience when we're doing it joyfully, like it is a joyful
Mhm.
creation. And because I don't believe that anything is ever wasted, and whether or not it comes into some fruition now, 5 years down the road, like who knows,
Right.
but just enjoying and playing with the creation, I think that is exactly where we want to be in our mental mindset,
Yeah.
over the, and I was gonna say over the work, but over the creation. Yeah.
Over the creation and also get it for me, it's when I write something, I feel like, oh, it's too raunchy. People don't want to see this. They don't want to read it. They don't want to watch it. And there's
Mhm.
such a stigma about adult movies that it's trash, it's disgusting, it's degrading. It's like, because you can write a love story and
Yeah.
have it more than just
Yeah.
trashy. Like it can really be beautiful
I
if
love
when
that.
people get out of their own way. And our parents and older than that making sex and everything such an ugly thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, the body's
Yeah.
really beautiful and
It
there's so
really
much
is.
that can be
It
shared.
really is. And that was such a powerful part of how we were created. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
really awesome. You're just like,
Yeah.
you are you are swimming
I'm,
in
I'm
in all
sorry.
this. Like you are
I'll
fully
take
like,
it.
like Kimber, like just diving into the waters, and you're there. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Um, other tasks that came up that revealed something that you did, that illuminated something for you or got you excited about something like that. I like the 10 tiny changes.
For me, anybody else?
Anybody.
Me? Oh,
Yeah, I was
go.
I read the basic principles a lot. I took a picture of it because it's like an affirmation. It's like a bunch of
Yeah.
affirmations. So those 10 basics. So I got that. I didn't get to write, but I just longed to sit under that tree and write.
Oh,
But
lovely.
yeah, it's like
Yeah, I gave you
105
props.
here. So
I
Yeah,
gave
she
you
was
props.
showing us.
yeah,
You told me about that. I'm like, oh, okay.
let's read those.
Yeah,
Affirm, yeah, all the power of ourselves.
yeah.
And I know that I talk a lot about Post-it, so I haven't taken a picture or done that, which is really cool to pull that out. So thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna, but I wrote down on Post-its, and in my mirror in my closet, I had, no, and I said I had, because some of them have come down or like lost their stickiness. So maybe that's something that I could do even this morning. It's gonna be such a hot day in Boise that I think I just really want to organize and clean my house, but also like put some of those affirmations
Oh,
Hi, baby. Forward, you know, so that I can be seeing them and remind myself of that, because again, when we are expanding and growing, that's when so does fear. It's like right along. It's like, no, I want to like affirm
Yeah.
where I'm at. So okay, so you've also printed out the basic principles someplace where you can see it. And Mama, anything, because if you didn't do the reading, then perhaps you didn't see the tasks and things like that, and that's okay, you know,
Yeah, no, I'm looking at my underlines from
last year.
last time I read through, but I was just doing that at a glance earlier this morning, I guess. And I thought, okay, just those make no sense until I sit back and
Yeah.
read more. So my answer is no.
Okay. And remember that there is like,
Right now.
like if you do find yourself out walking or a lot, or Mom, you were if you're in your yard, to get the audible version of it and maybe just listen to some of that. I find it like when she starts talking about like reading the tasks, because it's an audible book, like you read the whole thing is read, like the tasks, it's too much to listen to for me, but like listening to the essays, it's nice, like while you're cooking or walking, so you can get, you know, like that you're doing that, because it does, you know, it does take time if we're sitting and reading and being very intentional and making the time to do the task. So looking forward into week 3, it's already just seeing like what adjustments do we want to make to dive into it a little more. And I know for myself, I'm like, I just think that I need to take some more time on Sunday mornings to do the reading, just to sit and do the reading right at the beginning of the week. I know that she has this really fun exercise on page 73 to 74 that I think that we might come back and play with next week as we do our check-in on week 3. But little things like my favorite childhood toy was, my favorite
Oh,
childhood
yeah.
game was. It's just a really fun, playful thing. So I wrote directly in my book, I completed the sentence, and some were harder, some were easier, but that could be something fun to play with. There are fewer essays, but they are very powerful. One on anger. She hits
Yeah.
big on synchronicity this week. And so we've already noticed it, like Mom with you and that drive. And then you just happen to be at Tai Chi where this guy is mentioning like taking a walk to the place where you wanted to go. That synchronicity.
Yeah.
I
So
think,
see, and then shame. There's a big one on shame,
Mm.
and then dealing with criticism. So, okay, there's a more, so there's some longer essays in it. But really powerful stuff. And then yeah, 10 tasks like always. So, you know, looking at your week, figuring out what works for you, and just allowing yourself to be in the flow of it. And if you don't do the writing, like I admit that I didn't get some writing done this week, it's okay. If you know what prevented you from doing it, for good or for bad. You know, mine was what I call JOMO, the joy of missing out. I missed out on my morning pages because I was in community with these 7 women. And so that's why it happened. But sometimes we don't do them because we're just not used to the routine, and that's valuable information. Or, you know, we didn't prioritize it. And that's also, all of it is valuable feedback. So just like, whether we do it or not do it, just continuing to show up for ourselves and being here is a powerful movement forward. So week 3, as I say, a powerful, recovering a sense of power.
Yes. I like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy your Sundays, enjoy that California. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler there than it is here.
105 today.
Okay, never mind.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a parallel to there, you know, when it's hot there, it's usually like touch hotter here. So it's interesting.
So you've
What
got,
town are you in?
I'm in Escalon, California.
Oh, okay. Yes, you are not in the cool zone.
No, no,
No.
you know it well.
I know Escalon. There's
Do
so
you?
many little places that I like. They have
Zoom.
many little antique shops and like fun places that you could just go or that get a little ice cream. Yeah,
It is. It's a
Mhm.
very sweet town. They're keeping it small.
yeah,
They have a real building cap, so
yeah.
Good for
it's a
them.
sweet little town.
Farm
Yeah,
on the left,
exactly.
right when you enter in, like that red barn farm.
Uh-huh.
I've stopped there for produce before. Oh, that's so cool. Escalon.
Escalon,
Thanks for asking that, Mom.
California.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you on your unpacking.
Well,
Packing.
I have my old group, my old spiritual group of co-creators
Yay.
coming today to play with rocks with me and see what they need and see how to get these guys out in the world.
Wonderful.
I have a question about your house there in Escalon. Who lives there now?
Nobody
Who-
lives here now. I have the coolest neighborhood, and just my best friend in the world is this scrubby old Republican guy next door, and he takes care of my yard, and
Oh,
oh man, they last time I came, they had a housekeeper come in and clean it. Yeah,
Wow.
just lovely lifelong friends, and then I get to enjoy their grandchildren or are young, and they always run to hug Kimber. They were here helping me yesterday clean the garage, so it feels really good
how
here.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very
okay.
cool.
but they take care of it. It's like it actually looks like somebody lives here.
Wow.
I haven't been here since February, and everything's like the yard's great. Got to open the doors and air it out.
Artist State group field trip. Did we
Field
hear?
trip. Hey.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
be going through there in a month or so. True, not
Through up into the mountains. Yeah, this is
you're down from the
Escalon.
mountains back to
It's
the
the
Bay Area.
step before the mountains.
Yep.
Escalon. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yay.
Well, have a fun, creative, exploratory week, stepping into
Yes.
your sense of power. And, there's anything that comes up that you're like wanting to share before we meet again next Sunday. Marco Polo is there for you. So remember that is another resource. And otherwise, just have fun. Have a fun.
Yeah, you too.
And we'll check back in next Sunday.
Okay.
Bye,
All right, bye,
everybody.
everybody. Have a beautiful